Prince was perceived as being somehow threatening. I have a feeling that, he said, if I met Prince, he'd steal my girlfriend. So there were these perceptions about Prince that he was, this bacchanal, and that there was always a bacchanal, and that he was this sexual predator. He was the opposite. The truth was he was a working man who went to work every day, and that's basically all he did. He dated, but it was usually women that he was around, like Vanity and Susanna Melvoin and Jill Jones and Sheila E. And he was just a working man, and he also was sober as a judge, so your kids would have been really safe with Prince. But one of the things that was lost on some people, not on his fans, but on a lot of people, they didn't really get that when Prince was singing songs about sex, he was giving power to women. Do Me Baby is the archetypal example of this, was him saying to the woman, you do me. You be the aggressor. You do me. And he's saying how much he loves it when she has all the power. All of his songs, all of those songs are about us. He never, ever took a predatory stance in his seduction. It was never about, I am going to conquer you, my prey. It was always, he always approached women as equals. And I think that's one of the reasons that women loved him so much. We trusted him. We felt safe with him. We felt empowered. We felt equal. He gave us that, and he always did. He was always consistent with that. That's who he was.
But I do want to say, because I did mention the hashtag #MeToo, just, I don't want to be slight about it at all, that Prince, even though he could be slightly misogynistic and kind of a jerk sometimes, he was never, ever, ever, as far as I know, inappropriate with women. And I just want to put that out there because there's so many people getting thrown under the bus. But Prince, even though he was all about the sex and all kind of crazy, whatever the wild and crazy songs you were talking about with those lyrics, he was never, ever, not to me, not to anybody that was involved was there because they wanted to be there. He was never inappropriate. Yeah, but I don't know who listens to this, and I just want to make that. But I just want to make that like a very clear statement about who Prince was, and he was always a gentleman. He might have been an asshole sometimes, but he was never inappropriate.
Carmen Electra gets emotional remembering her late mentor, Prince.
To lose his life is it's shocking. I didn't think this day would come. I learned a lot from him. He was my mentor. I've learned work ethic from him, kindness, to have boundaries. And if he believed in you, he was rooting for you. He was your biggest cheerleader, and he was like, no, you're gonna make it. And he did that for me. He gave me confidence. Thank you for making me who I am today. Thank you for believing in me and giving me opportunities that no one would have ever given me.
Yeah. And what was the first date? I mean, was there a first date?
No.
What is that? Yeah. What is that like?
No. I mean, the thing is, we were friends first. We were friends, and then he became my boss, and then the flirtation happened. I mean, we went to the movies all the time, and there wasn't the first date that he was like, it's courting time, was when we were engaged. And I was like, wait.
That is quite the first date. A lot of ladies would be very, flattered with that as a first official date.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ring.
I know.
Wow.
He was like, it's courting time. I was like, okay.
The barn scene was the sex scene.
Right.
Why did that get cut out?
And that was an issue of fire and Warner's. But that scene was very, very tame. Al was there, and we had Donald Thorin. It was a small crew. We were both terrified. I was perspiring profusely. You could see it in the photos.
First time you kissed him then? Was on camera?
Yes. And we kissed, and we were both nervous. And the beautiful thing that I have to say is that in all that time I was looking at him, he kept his eyes on my eyes, nowhere else. He was professional.
Was he nervous?
Yes. We were both terrified. We were trembling. We were scared. It was all for the film.
Yeah.
So it worked.
If he wanted to date you, would you have entertained the idea?
No. It was never that way. He always treated me very much like he put me on a pedestal, like a mom, like a little sister, like a daughter. But again, he was difficult. We had our, arguments.
Sure.
Always.
You'd stand up to him.
Oh, yeah. But I know that I was able to get his respect.
So Prince and I, we dated off and on for years. What ended everything was because I got pregnant. Someone suggested that we go out and party. a club, Casablanca's out in Minneapolis, and Prince was there. I was wearing a polka dot vintage style outfit, and that's where the polka dots came from. He would usually go on tour during the cold months. I would go back to my normal life in Denver. He just called me up and said, hey, I'm working on a jazz album, and I wanted to know if you wanted to be the cover girl. Yeah. The videos were done in Minneapolis. When I first moved to LA, a lot of people thought that I was Lisa.
We squandered so much time for what? I don't know what I was waiting for. Time had passed. He was so hell-bent on me waiting. A lot of what he promised couldn't really deliver. So I was fed up. By that time, I was like, what am I? You are not this man's girlfriend. Move on, Jill. I was starting to crack.
I was there because I wanted to be there. There was nothing that he could do to me that I didn't really allow.
You can't force anything. It has to be organic. The relationship has to run its course.
We were boyfriend and girlfriend. We were very close, but we'd had some sort of tiff. Prince was not happy, and I've got to go to New York. I'm leaving.
I was living in New York.
He was kind of going through this thing where he was dating a certain someone, and there was like a choice. Her sister was in the band. Do you understand? Like, that causes a lot of rifts. I was also having different men come at me, feeling guilty about going out with other people, and it was really kind of tricky. Now, all of a sudden, shh, you have to be quiet. You can't let anybody know.
I mean, we still saw each other.
There's been plenty of women who've been with him.
I don't think really much changed other than he was like, well, I'm going to, have to be getting engaged.
And you just never knew when he was coming or going, and I'm out of here.
It's like that kind of hey, if I was him, I'd have a bunch of women too. And then everybody knows he was in New York.
It's just a control issue of men, and some people call it a strong pimp game.
Let's just go in there. Open the door, and they're all waiting in there. And he said, show us your best rings. It was a pear-shaped 6-carat diamond ring. And that's it. We'll take it. And we walk out. It's on my finger. It's beautiful. Huge. It was huge. I just thought, wow, you've just spent a whole ton of money on a ring, and you gave it to me. Wonder why? You must have some excess cash. Seriously. And I wasn't going to say, hey, you just gave me a ring. Where's the engagement? I need to talk to you. Okay. So we go out on the balcony, and he's taking his time. I don't really want you to be in the film. I want you to be my wife. And I say, oh, what? It could have been any other way of saying it, but it was that way. And I was like so taken back that I was like, of course. If that makes it easier for you and for us to have this, of course. I mean, I didn't think my marriage proposal wasn't going to be so odd. Well, we're there, and then we fly to Nice, and then we're in Nice for a while. I'm his fiancé, and we're staying in our house in St. Vincent de Paul, and they're, shooting Cherry Moon, and I'm at the house every day. Well, why am I not on set all the time? Why am I not there? There's my sister and everybody's there, and why am I being sort of kept away? I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand being away from my sister. I can't do it. Just had enough. And it wasn't 6 months or 8 months after that I just said, I have to go. I can't be here anymore. I can't do this. And I left.
It's such a Cinderella story. I was a model in New York. And we met at the American Music Awards, and he pursued me and kept calling me, and I really wasn't interested in him at first. I was actually sleeping on a mat on the floor and behind somebody's couch at the time, and then Prince and I started to date. And we had a piano in the house, and I watched him sit down and play piano, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm done. He sits down and he plays such incredible music. He would play Amadeus, and that kind of music just, blew me away. But that was the true Prince. Just such poetry. It's a very beautiful story.
And also empowering as a woman. He empowered me. He empowered me to feel like I can hang with the big dogs,
Mm-hmm.
I can hang doing this stuff. And that I am a big dog, myself, so that's how I feel. And I carry this to, today for me.
Denise, got a new name for you. So what's that, Prince? Vagina. Wait a second now. And he said, well, you could spell it Vagina. I'll let you name me Vagina as long as you change your name to Dick. I said, no way, absolutely not, no way. Another one, please. And so the next day came with Vanity, and that scared me a little bit. It scared me a lot, I remember. I got nervous, really shaky inside. I thought, what will people think? When I look in the mirror, when I look at him, I love his face so much I want it. And when he looks at me, I know he digs my face so much that he wants it.